All right. We are going to need to work very hard because we have a short time until your dinner break. So if you see persons that are not taking their seats, would you encourage them to do so? You may miss some of the discussion because we're going to start very quickly. Thank you, thank you. As you're coming, I want to say a special thank you. I was given a gift for the presiders that I hope will help us once I learn how to focus it. A little binoculars, so I would say appreciation to one of our groups. This has mosaic on it, and so thank you. They'll help me see people better. I'm not sure. Well, good intentions, but it's not really a help. All right. Now, what's before us is the minority report, and I hope, the majority report, I'm sorry, even I'm getting confused. All right. I see an inquiry here, microphone 10. What's the nature of your inquiry?
Orlando Boys, Lay Delegate Liberia Annual Conference. Bishop, on page 2192 of our DCA.
Yes?
The minority report.
Minority report is no longer before us.
Yes, Bishop, I want to know whether this is not against our rule.
Okay, go ahead and make your question.
I do not see the names of the makeup of the minority report.
All right.
Is this not against our rules?
All right, let me, just to let you know, we're past the minority report, but I will inquire with regard to your question. I note that some of the minority reports, names are not attached, and that may have been an editorial decision, but it is not affecting our work. So I will ask of the committee to get an answer to your question, but it is not affecting the business that is before us now. So we'll get an answer for you as soon as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you. All right. Yes, there's a question. Please state the nature of your inquiry. Microphone 9, please.
Donna Burkhart, Western Pennsylvania, laity. Point of clarification, it was stated that we've never been involved in divestment, and I'd like to ask if General Secretary of Church and Society, Jim Winkler, could speak to that.
Okay, the request has been made. Would the body wish to have that question answered and give permission for the General Secretary to speak to that question? Is there a motion? What is that? Okay. Okay. There is a person on the committee that can answer that. Would you accept that? All righty. Thank you. We won't need to take parliamentary action. Go ahead.
Bonnie Martin, thank you for that very important question. The General Conference has never historically directed the General Board of Pensions and Health Benefits to initiate divestment. The General Conference has empowered the General Board of Pensions and Health Benefits to explore the opportunities or possibilities of divestment. The divestment decisions made on behalf of the United Methodist Church have been made by the General Board of Pensions and Health Benefits. That's been a very confusing piece, so thank you so much for asking that question.
All right. Now, the report is before you as presented from the committee. We can receive speeches for and against. It's before you. So what is your pleasure? You can vote if you're ready to vote. If someone wants and no one wants to speak, we're ready to vote then. I see someone wanting to speak. I waited too long. In the last section, red card, yes. Please come to microphone 4. As she's moving to the mic, let me share with the body. I really am trying to rotate to each section and to do that as best I can. Thank you.
Bishop Margaret Novak, Yellowstone Conference. I would just ask us all to imagine that we were United Methodists in the 1930s and 40s, that our Board of Pensions held stock in the very successful manufacturing firms in Germany that bid and received the bids to manufacture the ovens for the concentration camps. At what point would we decide it was time to divest? How much evidence would we ask for before it was time to stop the wholesale destruction of people?
All right. Let me ask the speaker to clarify. Were you intending that as a speech for or against?
I think that was a speech against the majority report.
All right. Thank you for clarifying that. Is there anyone that wishes to speak for? Okay. In this section, microphone 9.
Ken Carter, Western North Carolina Conference clergy. Speak in favor of the main motion.
Please get that mic a little closer.
Ken
Thank
Carter,
you.
Western North Carolina Conference laity, or clergy, excuse me. A long day.
It's been a long day.
Maybe I'll return to the laity. I speak in favor of the main motion and just want to make a comment that maybe hasn't been said and may add to the conversation, and that is that we also, as Christians, have a relationship to Judaism and Israel. Romans 11 says that they are the root system and we are the branches. I very much stand with Palestinian Christians. I've been all over that part of the world as well as you have, many of you have. But I am a little concerned that we speak about Israel and Judaism as if we are somehow detached from them and in opposition to them. And I believe the scriptures teach us that at our best, we are not.
All right. That was a speech in favor. Is there a speech against? There's an inquiry here. Microphone 9. Let me get the nature of your inquiry. Okay. Microphone 9.
Tina Whitehead, laity. Western Pennsylvania Conference. I would like to make an amendment.
You're in order.
I would like to replace paragraph number 1 on page 856 with the following. The 2012 General Conference calls on all United Methodist boards and agencies to provide the moral, nonviolent assistance called for by our sisters and brothers in the Holy Land, and end our investment in the tools that systematically deprive them of their freedom. After more than 40 years...
Let me ask, is that a part of your, the after 40 years a part of your motion?
This is a part of the motion.
Please continue.
After more than 40 years of ethnic cleansing and occupation, Palestinian Christians are asking for divestment for their freedom not investment to improve life in their prison. And then again in paragraph 5, at the bottom of the page, after individuals to prayerfully consider to divest from companies such as Caterpillar, Motorola Solutions, and Hewlett-Packard, when after 3 years of engagement, they have not changed their corporate practices, which result in violations of human rights.
Is there a second? I hear a second. It is in order. This says perfecting the main motion. It can be amended.
May I speak to the motion, to the amendment?
Yes, you may speak.
I understand the draw of positive investment in this issue, and it sounds like it is the best option, but it is not. As stated in the amendment, all positive investment does is improve life in the prison, which is the West Bank and East Jerusalem. We are calling for divestment from these companies that use their products to further this imprisonment, and therefore to benefit the people of Palestine.
All right, that's one speech in favor of the amendment, a speech against. I'm going to move to the back of the room here. I see the, I'm having trouble trying to maintain our balance within the room. The persons in this section that are wanting to speak that have an orange card, just for a moment, can you stand where you are so I can see who I'm trying to recognize here? All right. All right, thank you. I'm trying to be balanced in the diversity of our group, and it's a challenge at times. All right, I'm going to call upon the first card right here. Yes, sir.
Alex Joyner, Clergy Virginia Conference. I stand to speak against the amendment, partly because it feels to me that this is an attempt to reintroduce language that we have just seen in the minority report, and partly because I believe it also introduces a vision of peacemaking that is antithetical to what this primary motion is about. The occupation is something that we all stand against, but it's something that's going to take two parties to end. Israel is not solely culpable in continuing the occupation, and it's not solely capable of ending it. Positive investment, the language of positive investment to me is a strong affirmation. It's a strong step that will help to create the institutions and the capacity of a Palestinian state to be a true partner for peace with Israel. So I would argue that we keep the language of the majority motion and recognize that that is a strong statement. It is not a choice between action and inaction. This is a positive action that United Methodists can get behind.
All right, we're only on the amendment. We've got 1 and 1. I'll recognize the person over here in the green card. Microphone 6.
Thank you, Bishop. Jorge Lockwood, late delegate, New York Annual Conference, the United States of America. I rise in support of the amendment. Sisters and brothers, we are at a historic moment. Christians in Palestine, after much discernment and prayer, have unanimously asked us to divest. We know in this body how difficult it is to find unanimity amongst ourselves. They did it. Our Board of Pensions has a hard time listening to decisions that do not come from within their own ranks. I actually support that attitude, but I consider this issue to be an exception because of the implications and also because of the history that we have as a General Conference in talking about this but never doing anything about it. I am speaking to you from a deep love of the land of both the Jewish and Palestinian people. This love that rises from my mother's Jewish roots was solidified in my father's tenure as ambassador from the Dominican Republic in Israel. We need to put our actions where our mouth has been for a long time. Disinformation and also disingenuous information have been received by us, particularly around the issue of we have never divested before. Sisters and brothers, we have done something even greater than that. We have boycotted as a General Conference. We have boycotted as a whole church, and very recently you will remember the cases that we did that in past General Conferences. We have a unique opportunity today to do what Methodists do best, to lead with our voices and with our resources. Today we have a chance to put our collective strength where our mouths have been for a long time. I urge you to not listen to the voices that give disinformation, saying that if we divest, the African Fund for Theological Education will suffer. That is not correct. Or that we will be held liable legally. That is not correct. Let us be brave. Let us do what we said we came here to do and engage the change the Spirit is calling upon us.
All right. Is there someone that wishes to speak against the amendment? Okay. Over here. The speech against the... Yes.
Linda King, Lay, Kentucky. I speak against this amendment using this question to ask you to just think about. Doesn't the United States government purchase items from these same companies and use them around the world in war that we all here, not everyone here, is for? I support the original petition and pray for peace at the peace table, guided by world leaders. I am happy with the words consider, explore, and serious peacemaking and prayer.
All right, we have 1 and 1. 2 and 2. 2 and 2. I see inquiry in the back here. Yes, you, sir? Yes, you. Go to microphone 7.
Thank you, Bishop. Levi Bautista, Northern Philippines. A question, Bishop.
Yes, sir.
A previous speaker that spoke on microphone 8 mentioned that the General Counsel of the Board of Pensions advised that we are prone to legal risks if we divest from a particular or particular companies. Was that the same advice given when the Board of Pension divested from the Corrections Corporation of America, which is also a very specific company?
All right. Do we have information that can answer that question?
Thank you again for the very helpful questions. I want to try to clarify it again. The decision to divest from privately owned prisons was made by the General Board of Pensions and Health Benefits, so there were no legal implications. The question remains if the General Conference were to instruct the General Board that there then might be legal consequences. Is that helpful? Same concept, but two different ways of implementing it procedurally.
Okay. All right. 2 and 2. There is a request to speak in favor. I'm going to recognize the person back here in the center. You, sir, you just sat back down. Microphone 6.
Bishop, Bill Aldrich, Laity, New England Conference, USA. I'm overjoyed that you chose to give me an opportunity to speak. I'm also overjoyed that the majority of people here seem to understand that the Palestinians are getting the short end of the stick. For 45 years, despite all the talk, there has been no agreement. And that is because there is absolutely no incentive for Israel to sign a peace agreement. Because without one, Israel can continue colonizing more land, pushing out more Palestinians, and putting more facts on the ground. Colonialism is alive and well in the occupied territories.
I'm going to ask, just to help the body, unlike I've been asking others to speak up, I'm just going to ask you to speak a little lower to make your voice better heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop. My wife tells me the same thing all the time. An important point that does not seem to be grasped by many people here is that Israel's political system is trapped. It's trapped because there is no way that an Israeli government can oppose the settler movement. Similarly, America's political system is trapped. And that's due to a very misinformed American public. Simply calling for more negotiations offers no hope. I repeat, no hope of escaping this trap. And for that reason, I support the amendment. And once again, Bishop, I'm delighted you gave me a chance to speak.
Thank you. We're delighted you had a chance. Is there one that speak against? All the way in the back, to the right. Yes, sir, you just stood. Microphone 12.
Scott Selman, North Alabama Conference, United States, laity. Friends, as much as we regret the destruction that's taking place in the occupied territory, any amendment that makes reference to divestment is ill-conceived. Divestment will not stop the destruction. When you divest, you sell your stock to someone else. But more importantly, you give up your seat at the table. If you want to bring about change, why would you give up your right to speak directly to the companies you would like to change? That's what divestment does. I speak against the amendment.
All right, we have had 3 and 3 on the amendment. It is before you now for a vote. If you are ready, get your machines ready. If you would approve the amendment, press 1. And I understand you don't have to push send now, so just press 1. If you oppose the amendment, press no. Please vote now. Five seconds. The vote is closed. We'll await the results. You did not support the amendment. We're back to the main motion. We've had one speech in favor and one speech against. Main motion is before you. Inquiry over here. Microphone 1.
Michael Watts, Kentucky Conference. Bishop, if it is in order, I move that we go ahead and vote on the matter before us.
I'm afraid you're not in order. We've only had one speech in favor and one against.
Okay.
We have to have 2 and 2. Unless no one wishes to speak. Okay. I see one wishing to speak in favor, right here. Microphone 5. You are speaking in favor?
I am in favor, Bishop Larry Price from South Georgia.
All right, please speak.
Laity. I am disturbed by the language of our conference that keeps saying about the nation of Israel.
Please get right into that mic so we can hear you.
I am disturbed by the language of our conference that keeps using the language that Israel is like a conquering nation. And I remind our people that we are a people of God, and God told Abram to go into the land, your family and your father's household, for the land that I will show you, and I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you, and I will make your name respected, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and those who curse you, I will curse. Bishop, we don't need to be standing against Israel. All the support we're talking about for the Palestinians is totally against all that God has told us for Israel, who is only defending the rights they have to the land that God gave them. And I urge you to vote for this amended report.
All right, that's a speech in favor. Is there a speech against? All right. Speech against, we'll go right over here. I saw, let's see, the young lady that's on the far edge of the room. Yes, please. This is a speech against.
Yes.
Microphone 3.
Thank you. Sarah Ann Swenson, lay delegate from Minnesota. I am 23 years old, and I am here like you because I love this church. I also love my friends from school and around the world. People in my generation are missing. People between the ages of 18 and 24 make up only 5% of our congregations, according to statistics I received just yesterday from the Board of Ordained Ministry. According to research done by the Barna Group, some of the reasons people my age aren't here are that we see the church as small-minded and hypocritical. We see through this. While many of you may see Caterpillar, Motorola, and Hewlett-Packard as safe, good business investments, we see the broken bodies and destroyed homes and weeping families, some fellow Christian families in Palestine that are harmed by our investment choices. We cannot sing "There is a balm in Gilead" with any integrity as long as we continue to make these choices. This petition is now devoid of any possibility to set straight our hearts and pocketbooks in a constructive and meaningful way. You did not step out in faith in Jesus' name to put your dollars to good work. if you don't have faith in what you invest, how can people of my generation have any faith in what we believe? If we can't take action, let's at least stop hiding behind pretty rhetoric.
All right, that was a speech against. I see it. Let's ask that there not be demonstrations. Thank you. There's an inquiry in the far back, a white card. Please state the, no, you just turned your head. I'm talking to you. Thank you. Number 10.
Thank you, Bishop. Odette Lockwood Stewart, California, Nevada Annual Conference. I want to offer an amendment if it's in order.
You're in order.
I think the body has made itself clear that it has voted down in two forms, divestment. But I also, with limited exception,
Remind you, you can't make a speech and then make an amendment.
Sorry. Okay. I move, thank you. I move that at the majority report at the end, where it says, and the last line, and adopt the principles, we add or sustain the language from the rationale of the minority report, not the language of the report, not the language where it says, or sustain Israel's illegal settlements, segregated roads, checkpoints, the separation wall, home demolitions, and other realities of the occupation in Palestinian territory. If I have a second, I'd speak to it.
Is there a second? I heard a second. Please speak.
I apologize for getting it inverted. I think the body has made itself clear on the recent votes that there is not a desire to have divestment and not in specific companies. I do think, however, that for the most part, every speaker has said the separation wall, the settlements, the demolition of homes, and these realities are things that we also deplore and decry. The majority report as it is does not get specific at all. And while all this amendment would do is to add to the, what it would do is add that it consider economic sanctions with companies that refuse to recognize and adopt the principles or participate in these specific. It's just asking for prayerful consideration, but it's being more specific about this particular struggle of this particular people. And we have been called upon by our Palestinian Christian brothers and sisters to do this. And I hope that we can vote, if not for divestment in specific companies, we can at least vote and name the specific concerns we have that many people have said they want to see an end to this, and ask our general board to prayerfully consider economic sanctions in that as well. Thank you.
All right. That's one speech in favor of the amendment. Anyone else wish to speak against the amendment? I don't see one. Well, there's one all the way in the back. Could you go to microphone 8, please?
John Simon Jatutu, Nigerian Annual Conference. I stand to oppose this amendment. My reasons are, we felt as if we are trying to help our Palestinian brothers and sisters. But I feel at the end result of it, we will end up dealing with our Palestinian brothers and sisters. I say this because Israelis, all that the Israeli government is doing is trying to protect and defend its territorial integrity. All that she is doing by building all the walls that you are talking about is to protect its people from attacks from outside. We all know that Israel is surrounded by its enemies. It is a small country, but all the Arabs are looking onto it to destroy and even eliminate it from the face of the earth. Without standing firm to protect itself from all these attacks from outside, one day we will wake up to discover that Israel is no more. I hereby stand to make it very clear that the end result will be against our Palestinian brothers themselves. The Muslims in the Arab countries are looking for a way to make sure that it takes over the Holy Land completely. And by using our few Palestinian Christians as a pretext to make sure that we deal with issues that has to do with Israel, we are at the end of the day going to deal with our brothers, the Palestinian Christians, as well as we ourselves who are coming up with these issues. I want to call upon this general gathering to oppose vehemently to this amendment. Thank you.
Let me test the will of the body and explain our situation. We are right up on your dinner hour. You have heard one speech on either side of the amendment. You've heard two speeches on either side of the main report. It's really in your hand, and I'm your servant. I'd like a sense of the House if you are inclined to move in the direction to expedite this process. This is just to give the chair a sense of the House. This is not official vote, but by a show of hands, those that desire to close all debate and proceed forward, give me a sense of the House. Okay, it seems that that's pretty strong. I would suggest that if there is someone wanting to, normally all that is before us is not in order unless there's a suspension of the rules. I see a card right here. Yes, sir.
Bishop Brown, my name is Gary George, clergy, East Ohio Conference, USA. I would move for a suspension of the rules for the purpose of calling the question.
All righty. Second. Second. That is before you. We're going to use your machines. If you would vote to suspend the rules so that we can call for the question, you'll press 1 for yes. If you oppose that, press 2 for no. Please vote now. Five seconds. All right, this vote is closed. We'll wait for the results. You have suspended the rules. Now let's formally make sure we done it right. Let's call for the question. So, you want to call for the question while you're there?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, question is called for. Second. All right, that is before you. Let's work those machines again. If you would call for the, well, if there is no objection, show of hands. Call for the question. Thank you. Opposed? Question is now called. We will vote first on the amendment. Could we restate the amendment? Listen to the secretary, please. We need some clarity from the maker of the motion. Could you come up real quick? Thank you. Microphone 10.
Yes, Bishop.
Would you could you restate it? We're a little unclear about the way one thing is read.
So that at the end of the majority report, where it says companies that refuse to recognize and adopt the principles, there would be the following words: or sustain Israel's illegal settlements, comma, segregated roads, comma, checkpoints, comma, the separation wall, comma, home demolitions and other realities of occupation in Palestinian territory, period.
Thank you. That is what is before you. Let the maker of the motion get back to her seat so she can vote. We have it written. We needed to correct it, just to clarify for the page. Thank you. All right. This is before you. If you would vote for the amendment, press 1. If you oppose the amendment, press 2. Please vote now. Five seconds. This vote is closed. We'll wait for the results. The main vote is the amendment failed. Thank you. It is getting that time. We are now dealing with the main motion. It is before you.
I'd like to give gratitude to the body for this holy conferencing experience. I pride myself in being a relatively passionate person, so I recognize the passions that are involved in this work, and I hope that it continues. However, in the midst of passion, it's difficult sometimes for us to hear each other. There's a lot of very mixed information that we've shared with each other, and I encourage us to take a breath, slow down, and to trust that God continues to work with us and through us. This petition does not prevent the General Board of Pensions and Health Benefits from divesting. It encourages us to continue in dialogue, to engage in corporate conversation. And there are already amazing positive conversations happening, so I have great confidence that we and the world will be in a different place in 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you. This matter is before you. If you would support the position, you would vote, press 1 for yes. If you oppose, 2 for no. Please vote now. Five seconds. The ballot is closed. We'll await the results. This petition is passed. I want to thank all of you for the privilege of serving you this afternoon and for your gentleness with the chair. I want to thank the 2 bishops that have backed me up, Bishop Mel Talbert and Bishop Dan Solomon, and I want to express appreciation for the secretarial staff and those that worked with us. Let us be in prayer. Gracious God, we come for holy conferencing. Sometimes in the midst of our work, we disagree and there is misunderstanding. There are some in the midst of us that are wounded by the pain of decision and debate. But Lord God, help us to move towards one another and, more importantly, to move towards the kingdom that you call us to lead and be a part of. This is our prayer in Christ Jesus' name. We are in recess.